Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters, did you know that some of the pennies in your pocket change could be worth a fortune? Today, we're diving into the top high-value wheat pennies that could be worth millions of dollars. Stick around to see if you have one of these rare coins hiding in your collection.
Our first coin today is a coin that has sparked the interest of collectors for decades, the 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny. While this particular coin is in circulated condition, it holds a unique spot in American numismatic history, and its value on the auction market has only increased in recent years. The 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck during a time of significant change in the United States. The country was fresh off the heels of World War I, which had concluded 2 years earlier, and was now entering the Roaring Twenties, an era marked by economic prosperity, rapid industrialization, and cultural change. The 1920s saw the rise of consumerism, the proliferation of new technologies, and the beginning of the Great Depression toward the end of the decade. In terms of coinage, the 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny was an integral part of the nation's monetary system, used for everyday transactions. However, the 1920s marked the end of an era in U.S. coinage, as the Lincoln Wheat Pennies were eventually phased out in favor of the Lincoln Memorial Penny in 1959. The design of the 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny closely mirrors that of the 1945 version we discussed earlier, with a few important differences. As with all Lincoln pennies from this period, the obverse features the left-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, flanked by the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Below the portrait, you'll find the date 1920. The 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck in large numbers, with a total mintage of over 200 million coins. These pennies were circulated widely during the 1920s, and even today, they are relatively common to find in various conditions. However, certain factors, such as condition, demand, and the rarity of specific variants, play a key role in determining the value of a 1920 penny. In circulated condition, a 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny typically has a market value of around $99,300, although prices can vary. If the coin is in particularly good condition, its value can climb higher. Coins in higher grades, such as extra fine or uncirculated, can fetch significantly more, often exceeding $100,000 at auction. The 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny is known for its occasional errors and variations, which increase its value in the market. One notable example is the 1920 S penny, which was struck at the San Francisco Mint. Although this video focuses on the Philadelphia minted version without a mint mark, collectors often seek out specific varieties with minor errors, such as double dies or misstrikes. These errors can significantly increase the value of the coin, especially among advanced collectors. Despite being produced in large numbers, the 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny holds enduring appeal due to its age, design, and the historical context in which it was minted. As such, it remains a highly sought-after piece among collectors, especially for those looking to complete a set of Lincoln Wheat Pennies. The 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, in circulated condition, is a coin that not only holds value in today's market, but also carries historical significance. While it may not be the rarest penny in the Lincoln series, its connection to the post-World War I era and its status as a staple of American coinage makes it a coveted item for collectors. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a newcomer to the hobby, understanding the appeal of these coins and their potential value can help you make an informed decision when buying or selling. Next up, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent coin is another sought-after example of a collectible penny, particularly when it's in dirty or worn condition. The 1981 large date variety of this coin was produced in a time of shifting economic climates and political changes in the United States. Much like the 1977 cent, the 1981 coin is a symbol of its era, with the added complexity of its dirty condition increasing its value in today's marketplace. The 1981 Lincoln cent was minted during a time of relative economic stability following the end of the 1970s recession. However, the political landscape was still feeling the effects of the Cold War, and President Ronald Reagan had just taken office in 1981. Coin collectors during this time may not have considered the future value of these coins, and the large date feature wasn't initially considered to be a major collector interest. However, over the years, collectors have started to appreciate the distinctive size of the date and the variety of mint marks and conditions that exist in these coins. The mintage for the 1981 Lincoln cent was substantial, with billions of these coins entering circulation. Because of the high mintage, they are not considered rare by any stretch of the imagination, but they can still hold substantial value when found in specific conditions, like the dirty or worn variety we're discussing today. These pennies were primarily used in everyday transactions, and many were lost, damaged, or degraded over time, making the surviving examples in any condition more precious. Much like the 1977 version, the 1981 Lincoln Cents design is based on the familiar Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln, surrounded by the legend Liberty and the year 1981. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, which was the design used for the Lincoln cent until 2008, when it was replaced by a shield. The large date variety for the 1981 coin is characterized by the distinct size of the numbers, particularly the one in 1981, which stands out more compared to other years. In its dirty condition, this 1981 Lincoln cent has been affected by exposure to various elements, which gives it an aesthetically unique appeal. Over time, it has gathered dirt, grime, and possibly even corrosion, which some collectors view as adding character to the coin. This dirty aesthetic is often seen as a sign of a coin's history and authenticity, contributing to its desirability. The value of the 1981 Lincoln cent, particularly in its dirty state, is driven largely by the growing interest in coins that have aged in distinctive ways. As more collectors seek out pieces that tell a story, a dirty 1981 penny, especially one with a large date and no mint mark, can command a higher value than one might expect. Auctions and private sales have seen examples of such coins fetching prices higher than their face value, especially when the coin is in good condition despite its dirty appearance. Next up, the 1918 Abraham Lincoln wheat cent holds a special place in the history of American numismatics. Struck during the final years of World War I, the coin is a reflection of both the economic conditions and the political climate of the era. At this time, the United States had just entered the war, and the country was grappling with the effects of wartime inflation and economic strain. This was also a time when coinage was becoming more heavily influenced by the nation's sense of patriotism and national identity. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design featured a portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse, which was created by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the coin displayed two stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural strength and prosperity. The wheat cent was designed to be a symbol of American unity, industrialism, and agricultural pride. In 1918, the coin was part of a series that had already been in circulation for almost a decade, but the national situation had changed since the early years of the series. The economic impact of the war, combined with rising inflation, made coinage production more important than ever. The 1918 wheat cent was minted in large quantities at the Philadelphia Mint, with the coin featuring no mint mark. The lack of a mint mark is significant because it indicates the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where the majority of coins were produced during this time. The 1918 Lincoln Wheat Cent without a mint mark was produced in a substantial quantity, making it relatively common when compared to rarer coins from the series. The mintage of this coin was 309,446,000, which means that it was mass-produced for circulation. Despite this high mintage, the coin's value has risen significantly in today's market, especially for examples in higher grades. In circulated condition, the 1918 wheat cent typically trades at a modest value of around $68,000. However, as the coin increases in grade, so does its value. In the higher circulated grades, such as very fine or extremely fine, it can reach prices of $75,000 or more, depending on its condition and eye appeal. For a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition, values can skyrocket into the thousands of dollars, particularly if it is graded by a reputable service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation or professional coin grading service. However, the real value for collectors lies in finding a well-preserved, high-grade example of this coin. Coins in fine or good condition still hold their value, but those in extremely fine and higher grades have the potential to reach several $100s, and the most valuable specimens can fetch upwards of $500 or more in auction settings. The design of the 1918 wheat cent is iconic, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse. Brenner's design captures Lincoln in a dignified manner, showcasing the 16th president's strong character. The reverse features two stalks of wheat, which were meant to symbolize the strength of America's agricultural economy. This imagery resonates with many collectors who are interested not only in the coin's monetary value, but also its historical significance. The coin is beloved by collectors due to its connection to a pivotal time in American history. Many collectors of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series are drawn to the 1918 coin because it represents a key year in the Lincoln series during the height of World War I. The simplicity of the coin's design also adds to its appeal. While the coin may not feature as many intricate designs or errors as some other coins in the series, it is still highly prized for its historical importance and relatively high availability in lower grades. The 1918 wheat cent also remains popular among collectors because it is a part of the broader Lincoln cent series, which is one of the most collected coin series in the world. There are numerous variations and mint marks within this series, making each year an exciting opportunity for collectors to add a significant coin to their collection. The 1918 coin is particularly sought after by those who are building a comprehensive collection of Lincoln wheat cents, or focusing on key dates and varieties. While the 1918 Lincoln wheat cent is a relatively common coin, collectors may also be interested in potential errors. A few rare die errors from this period include doubled dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned die strikes. However, the most common version of the 1918 wheat cent does not carry any significant errors, making it a standard coin in the series. Nonetheless, certain varieties of this coin, such as those with unique characteristics or found in particularly rare conditions, can drive the price higher. For example, if a 1918 coin shows significant wear or unusual toning, it may garner more attention from special or. Next up, the 1971 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent coin. We see another example of a simple, everyday coin that holds a surprising amount of value in the numismatic world today. The 1971 Lincoln penny was minted at a time of increased economic changes, particularly related to the end of the gold standard and inflationary pressures in the U.S. economy. This was also the year that President Nixon took the U.S. dollar off the gold standard, marking a dramatic shift in the global economy. Although the 1971 Lincoln cent might not have the same fame or historical weight as coins from earlier periods, it still plays an important role in the timeline of American coinage. Like its counterparts in the years before and after, this coin featured the iconic Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These design elements were staples of U.S. coinage for decades, making it a familiar sight to millions of Americans. In particular, the 1971 Lincoln penny without a mint mark has garnered interest due to its age, condition, and scarcity in dirty or worn condition. When looking at this coin, one might wonder why a simple, mass-produced penny would carry any real value, but that's where the magic of coin collecting comes into play. As with most Lincoln pennies, the 1971 issue has a prominent portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Brenner, featuring Lincoln facing right. Below this image, Liberty is inscribed, along with the date 1971, which is slightly above the coin's portrait. The reverse design showcases the Lincoln Memorial, symbolizing the nation's respect for the country's 16th president and his legacy. What makes the 1971 coin particularly interesting in terms of collector interest is its condition. Many pennies from this era are in circulated condition, showing significant wear and tear. When found in a dirty condition, such as when coins are exposed to extreme weather or corrosion, they tend to take on a darker, grimy appearance. These coins, while not pristine, attract collectors for their raw, unpolished look. Coins that appear in dirty condition often fetch lower prices than those in mint or near-mint condition. But for collectors of the more unusual and rare items, there's a certain charm in these coins. Some view these dirty pennies as having a special kind of beauty due to their imperfections, and collectors who specialize in more unusual and damaged coins may actively seek these out. The market value of the 1971 Lincoln penny is often quite modest, but when in dirty condition, it can sometimes fetch up to $29,000, depending on factors like rarity, age, and overall state. The standard 1971 Lincoln penny can generally be found for under $1, but when in a heavily worn or uniquely aged state, it can carry much higher prices. Coins in dirty or rusted conditions appeal primarily to a niche market. While these pennies are not highly valuable in terms of their base metal copper, the demand for coins with unique visual effects has driven up their prices. In fact, certain dirty pennies from the 1970s have sold for as much as $35,000 or more, depending on their appearance and the buyer's willingness to invest in the blackened aesthetic. Collectors, who are especially interested in uncirculated or raw coins, often find themselves fascinated by the stories that these dirty pennies tell. From environmental exposure to improper storage, the conditions that create these unique coins make them all the more valuable in the eyes of a dedicated collector. Coin collectors often value not just the rarity of a coin, but its journey. The dirty, worn 1971 Lincoln penny might not be an obvious candidate for high monetary value, but for those who appreciate historical context, rarity, and age, these coins have a much greater significance. Next up, the 1934 Lincoln wheat cent is one of the later coins in the wheat series, struck during the Great Depression, a time of significant economic hardship in the United States. This period marked a dramatic shift in American life, as millions of Americans faced unemployment, poverty, and social instability. The effects of the Great Depression were felt across all sectors of society, and the government began taking measures to address the economic crisis. This coin was minted at the height of these struggles and provides a snapshot of the country's financial difficulties during that time. The 1934 coin is part of a larger series of Lincoln wheat cents that ran from 1909 to 1958, with design changes introduced in the 1940s. The Lincoln wheat cent, designed by Victor David Brenner, has become a beloved symbol of American coinage. While the 1934 coin did not see any major design changes, its production coincided with a significant period in U.S. history. The 1934 coin was struck in relatively large quantities, with a total mintage of over 316 million. Like many other coins of the period, the 1934 wheat cent does not feature a mint mark, indicating that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The large date variety of the 1934 wheat cent is also noteworthy, as it was part of a series where the mint decided to use a larger number for the date compared to other years in the 1930s. While the 1934 Lincoln wheat cent was produced in large quantities, it is still a significant coin in today's market, especially for those focusing on key dates and varieties within the Lincoln series. As with most coins, the value of a 1934 wheat cent in circulated dirty condition is lower compared to examples in better grades. However, even in poor condition, it still holds some value. In circulated dirty condition, the 1934 wheat cent can range from $58,000 depending on its wear and the extent of damage or corrosion. However, as the coin's grade increases, so does its value. For example, in a fine or very fine condition, the coin's value could rise to between $63,000. At the higher end, an extremely fine or higher example could fetch anywhere from $69,000 or more. The market for the 1934 Lincoln wheat cent is also influenced by the popularity of the Lincoln cent series. Many collectors of this series focus on acquiring specific years, such as the 1934, due to its place in the timeline of American coinage during the Depression era. As a result, high-grade specimens of the 1934 wheat cent can command premium prices, even if they are in less than perfect condition. As with all Lincoln wheat cents, the 1934 coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the two wheat stalks on the reverse. The design represents the agricultural and industrial backbone of the United States, and its connection to Lincoln makes it even more special for many collectors. The large date variety of the 1934 coin stands out for its size, which gives it a slightly different look compared to other years in the series. The 1934 Lincoln wheat cent remains popular with collectors because it represents a pivotal moment in American history. Coins from the Great Depression are especially appealing to those who are interested in the social and economic impacts of the era. For many, the 1934 coin is a tangible connection to the hardships of the 1930s and the resilience of the American people during this challenging time. In the case of the 1934 wheat cent, the most common error type is the doubled die, where the date or design appears to have been struck twice. These varieties are especially prized by collectors, as they offer a glimpse into the process of coin production and are rarer than standard coins. Additionally, some collectors may focus on coins with unique toning, or those that show unusual wear patterns. We have the 1965 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, which is not your average penny. This particular version features the large date and no mint mark, but what really sets it apart is its condition. A full black, rusty, and dirty look makes this coin a prime example of a circulated coin, one that has a remarkable backstory. In 1965, the United States was in the midst of significant social and political change. President Lyndon B. Johnson was in office, and the nation was recovering from the tumultuous 1960s. This was a time of great upheaval, civil rights movements, the Vietnam War, and rapid technological advancements. Amidst this, the U.S. Mint continued producing pennies in large quantities, with the copper composition largely unchanged. However, the 1965 penny carries some distinctive features that make it a prized collector's item today, despite its worn, aged appearance. The design on the 1965 Lincoln penny follows the familiar pattern established by Victor David Brenner in 1909, the same design that's become iconic for over a century. On the obverse, we see the bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, with the words, "In God We Trust Liberty" and 1965 inscribed around the rim. On the reverse, the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the leader and his legacy. However, the key detail here is the large date used on this particular coin. The mint used a larger date size in 1965 for easier readability, which distinguishes it from other years. The no mint mark version is another characteristic worth noting. Without the mint mark, it's a challenge to track its specific place of production, adding a layer of mystery and intrigue to the coin. In terms of mintage, the 1965 Lincoln penny was produced in high numbers. However, due to its condition, marked by heavy rust, dirt, and an overall blackened hue, its value doesn't come from being an uncirculated piece, but rather from its rarity in surviving in any form. Such examples of damaged coins are often sought after by collectors who are drawn to the unique look and the historical significance of a well-worn coin. In today's auction market, a coin in this specific condition could fetch anywhere from $93,000 depending on the overall demand and auction context. Rarely, if a coin of this type is found with distinctive error marks or a truly unique rust pattern, it could go much higher. It's not the mint condition that collectors are looking for, but the story behind the coin, the way it's aged, and the mystery that surrounds its years in circulation. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1965 Lincoln penny is its potential for error. While this coin doesn't show the classic minting errors, such as double strikes or off-center impressions, the combination of its large date and aged condition makes it a collector's item with a certain raw beauty. Collectors often refer to such coins as natural errors, as they are the result of long-term circulation and environmental exposure. Collectors often seek out coins like these because of the unpredictability of their condition. No two coins show the same degree of rust, blackness, or wear. Some may have a unique history, potentially surviving extreme conditions over decades. In fact, there are those who find themselves fascinated by blackened or dirty coins, since these tell the story of years spent in pockets, bags, and across the streets of America. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is a significant coin in American history. By the time it was minted, the United States had just emerged from the trials of the Great Depression and was in the middle of World War II. The U.S. government had transitioned to wartime production, which had an impact on the minting of coins. The Lincoln wheat penny, in particular, is famous for being struck during a time when resources were limited. and the need for coins to circulate quickly was paramount. The 1944 wheat penny is known for its use of steel in the production of coins during the war. However, by 1944, the U.S. Treasury had shifted back to using copper for penny production, a necessary move as steel was needed for the war effort. The use of copper gave the 1944 Lincoln penny its signature look, with a bright reddish-brown hue that collectors cherish. The D Mint mark on this coin indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, which is known for producing a large number of coins during the wartime years. The mintage of the 1944 penny with a D Mint mark was a remarkable 430 million coins. Despite the high mintage, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with a D Mint mark still holds significant value today, particularly in better grades and when it's in circulated fine condition. In today's auction market, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with a D Mint mark in circulated fine condition can sell for anywhere between $25,000, depending on the demand from collectors and the overall condition of the coin. Coins with notable imperfections or wear will generally fetch lower prices, but those in fine condition, with clear details on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks, can fetch much higher bids. A coin that has been well preserved, especially one in a higher grade condition, might fetch several $100s at auction. The 1944 Lincoln penny stands out because of its historical importance and how it represents the resilience of the American people during wartime. It's a coin that has withstood the test of time and is one of the most recognizable coins in the series. The design of the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is credited to Victor David Brenner, the artist behind the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The obverse features a profile of President Lincoln looking to the right, with the words, "In God We Trust" inscribed above, and the year 1944 inscribed below. On the reverse side, you'll find two wheat ears flanking the inscription E pluribus unum and the coin's denomination, 1 cent. The D Mint mark is located to the right of the date, just beneath Lincoln's shoulder. For collectors, this small letter holds great significance, as it indicates the coin's origin from the Denver Mint, one of the U.S. Mint's primary production facilities. While there are no significant errors associated with the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny that would make it exceedingly rare or valuable, collectors do pay attention to variations in the mint marks and the coin's condition. The 1944 D penny could be found in a variety of grades, with those in higher condition being more valuable. Additionally, double die, obverse errors, while more common in earlier years, were occasionally spotted, which can make these particular coins highly desirable to collectors. Collectors have long been fascinated by the Lincoln wheat penny series, and the 1944 coin is no exception. What makes the 1944 D penny stand out among its peers is the unique historical context behind it. It represents a turning point in both American history and coinage production. The fact that it was struck during World War II, just as copper was coming back into use, adds a layer of depth to its appeal. Over the years, the 1944 D penny has continued to be one of the most popular coins for beginning collectors. Due to its relatively low price in lower grades and its historical importance, it serves as a perfect entry point for collectors looking to begin their journey with coins from the Lincoln series. Next up, we have the 1976 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin. While it might appear similar at first glance to the 1965 penny, this coin carries its own unique set of characteristics, historical context, and market value. Produced during the bicentennial year, this coin bears significance in American history, and its condition today adds to its mystique. 1976 was a monumental year for the United States. The country was celebrating its 200th birthday, a milestone that was marked by national pride and a slew of commemorative issues. The U.S. Mint issued a series of bicentennial coins in honor of the event, including special quarters and half dollars. However, while the Lincoln penny didn't get a special bicentennial redesign, its mintage during this time period was still part of a momentous year in American history. Though the 1976 penny is not as flashy as its bicentennial counterparts, it holds an important place in the 1970s coinage series. The Mint continued producing pennies without major changes, though the country was grappling with inflation and changes in metal content for coins. As part of a standard series of mintages, it carries the same design as previous years, but the demand for rare and misproduced coins like these has continued to grow. Much like the 1965 Lincoln penny, the 1976 version uses the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, along with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The 1976 penny is known for its large date style, which was used to ensure the year on the coin was easily readable. The large date version appears clearly distinct compared to other years, which gives it a special place among collectors. The lack of a mint mark adds another element of intrigue. Whether the coin was minted at Philadelphia, the location most commonly associated with pennies lacking mint marks, is a point of mystery for collectors. There's something inherently fascinating about the lack of mint marks on coins from this era, especially when you consider the other coins of the period which may have more noticeable minting errors. Like the 1965 penny, the 1976 Lincoln penny was produced in massive numbers. However, the value of the coin today doesn't come from the sheer number of coins produced but from its condition and the inherent story of survival. Coins in this type of worn, rusty, and dirty state are not easily found, and that makes them particularly desirable to certain collectors. The 1976 penny, when found in a similar blackened, rusted condition, can fetch anywhere from $66,000 in auction, but this will vary depending on the exact state of deterioration and any unique characteristics it might have acquired. Coins that show signs of oxidation or other interesting wear patterns tend to be valued higher. Much like the 1965 Lincoln penny, the 1976 coin's collector interest largely stems from its damaged or worn-out condition. It's not the rarity in terms of low mintage that drives the value here. It's the distinct nature of each coin's aging process. The dirty, rusty condition can often add a layer of unpredictability to the price, as collectors value the story the coin tells. Interestingly, the 1976 Lincoln penny doesn't carry any particularly notable mint errors, but its condition alone makes it a collectible for enthusiasts interested in coins that have a deep, unique patina. Next up, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny marks an important year in the history of U.S. coinage. It was struck right after the end of World War II, a time of reconstruction and recovery. The U.S. economy was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime production, and the country was experiencing rapid growth. Many changes took place, not only in the economy but also in the numismatic world. By 1946, the U.S. Mint was back to producing pennies in the same copper material that had been used for many decades before the war. However, despite the return to copper, the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to the post-war environment. The 1946 penny is most notable for the large date variety, which makes it particularly appealing to collectors who specialize in the series. The absence of a mint mark on this particular coin means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the primary facility for striking pennies at the time. With an enormous mintage of over 1 billion coins, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny was one of the most produced pennies of its era. However, what sets the 1946 large date without a mint mark apart is its rarity in higher grade conditions and the fact that it often features some unique characteristics, such as color-changed or dirty conditions, which can affect the price. In today's market, the 1946 large date penny without a mint mark in dirty or color-changed condition typically falls within the $15,000 range. However, depending on the degree of wear, discoloration, and overall condition, it can fetch more in some instances, especially if collectors are particularly interested in certain aesthetic features. For example, coins that exhibit a dramatic color change, perhaps due to exposure to certain chemicals or environmental conditions, can sometimes be worth more, as collectors who specialize in toned coins may find these coins appealing. It's essential for collectors to remember that while these pennies might not be the rarest of the rare, they hold a special charm, especially for those interested in post-war U.S. coinage. Like the other Lincoln wheat pennies, the 1946 coin has the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The details of the portrait will be less clear in lower-grade or dirty condition coins, but you should still see Lincoln's distinct facial features and signature beard. The key feature of the 1946 large date penny is the prominent size of the digits 1946. This characteristic gives the coin its name, as the large date was deliberately used during minting to make the year more readable. Coins with smaller dates are less common, and this discrepancy can add some intrigue among collectors. While there are no significant minting errors related to the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny that significantly affect its value, wear and tear can result in some interesting quirks. For example, color-changing or dirty condition coins can carry a unique appearance, with some displaying streaks of green, brown, or even blue hues, which may intrigue certain buyers. These color changes often come about from the coin being exposed to various environmental factors, such as being buried or stored improperly. Another notable aspect is the large date version of the coin, which makes it distinct from other pennies minted that year. Even though the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny is not one of the rarest coins from the series, it continues to draw significant interest from collectors. For collectors who specialize in post-war coins, or those focused specifically on the Lincoln series, this particular coin is a must-have. Next up, the 1977 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, specifically with a large date and a D mint mark, is an interesting and highly sought-after collectible. In this specific case, we're talking about a coin in what some collectors may refer to as Black Beauty condition. The term Black Beauty is a nickname that's often used for coins that exhibit a unique black, tarnished, or rusty appearance due to environmental exposure. The 1977 Lincoln cent, with a large date and the D mint mark, despite its dirty, worn, and corroded state, can still fetch incredible values at auctions. The 1977 Abraham Lincoln cent was minted during a time of economic uncertainty in the United States. The U.S. was dealing with inflation and the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and coin collectors at the time may not have realized the rarity that certain mint marks or conditions would present years later. The large date refers to the size of the 7 in the year 1977, and coins with this particular characteristic are sometimes preferred by collectors because of their distinctiveness. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was minted in Denver, Colorado, a location known for producing high-quality coins. However, over time, many of these coins, especially those exposed to harsh environments, have developed a unique patina that enhances their collector appeal. In the case of this particular coin, its blackened surface could suggest it was buried, stored improperly, or left in an area with high humidity, all contributing to its current appearance. The 1977 Lincoln cent had a large mintage of 4.5 billion coins, making it relatively common in circulation. However, when you factor in the coin's specific condition, especially one in black, rusted, or heavily tarnished form, the rarity increases. Coin collectors who focus on varieties, such as the large date or the particular mint mark, find this coin intriguing, especially with a unique tarnish. The design of the 1977 Lincoln cent is typical of the series that began in 1909, with the initial Lincoln cent design by Victor David Brenner. The obverse features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, with the inscription Liberty and the date, 1977. The reverse shows the familiar design of the Lincoln Memorial with the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. Out of many, one along with the denomination 1 cent. The blackened, corroded nature of this coin adds an extra layer of intrigue. Some collectors find that the natural alteration in the coin's surface gives it a historical aura, as though it has seen decades of history firsthand. This condition makes the coin both rare and valuable, especially when considering how few examples of this coin remain in poor but collectible condition. Though the coin itself doesn't feature any known minting errors, the allure of a Black Beauty often lies in the possibility that its condition might come from an error in the minting process or from its prolonged exposure to an unusual environment. Over the years, as some collectors have looked for more exotic forms of collecting, a subgenre of error coins and unique condition coins has emerged. In the case of the Black Beauty coin, collectors are particularly interested in coins that exhibit unusual corrosion patterns or colors, often looking for those with unique surfaces or dark patinas. Because these coins are inherently harder to come by, they drive up the market value. The blackened appearance makes this 1977 Lincoln cent not just a coin, but a piece of history that evokes curiosity. Market huge value. Despite its full black color and the general wear, this particular 1977 Lincoln cent can still be worth significantly more than its face value. Depending on the extent of the blackened condition, auction prices can range from thousands of dollars up to hundreds for coins that are recognized for their rarity, historical interest, or aesthetic appeal. The market for tarnished, rusted, and uniquely aged coins has grown in recent years, attracting both collectors and investors. In conclusion, even though this coin has weathered years of wear and corrosion, its unique condition has allowed it to maintain a higher-than-average value in today's auction market. For collectors who appreciate the beauty of natural aging, this coin represents a tangible link to the past, and its price will continue to fluctuate as collectors look for coins that tell a story beyond their minting. Next up, the 1952 Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent with a D mint mark. Now, when we think of rare and valuable coins, we often imagine pristine examples, but today we're talking about a coin that, despite its dirty condition, has some significant market value. Let's explore why this coin, in such a state, is still attracting collectors and what makes it so valuable. To start, let's rewind the clock. The Lincoln wheat cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This series, which ran until 1958, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors due to its iconic design. The 1952 Lincoln wheat cent is part of the later years of this series and is notable for a number of reasons, even though it's not as widely recognized as some other key dates. In 1952, the United States was recovering from the challenges of World War II and experiencing a period of economic growth and technological innovation. The coin itself features the classic obverse design of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we see the famous wheat ears, an enduring symbol of the nation's agricultural roots, designed by Frank Gasparo. The 1952 Lincoln wheat cent, specifically with a D mint mark, was struck in Denver, where the U.S. Mint produced many coins to meet the needs of an expanding economy. The mintage of this coin was substantial, but like many coins from this era, it wasn't necessarily viewed as a collector's item back then. Fast forward to today, and its value has surged for a variety of reasons. Now, let's talk numbers. In total, over 440,001,952 Lincoln cents were minted across all U.S. Mint locations. The Denver Mint produced more than 160 million of these coins. So, in terms of mintage, the 1952 D Lincoln cent is not exceptionally rare. However, its value has increased in recent years due to factors like condition, market demand, and the increasing interest in collecting coins from the Lincoln wheat cent series. Coins that are considered common, in terms of mintage, can still be highly valuable if they possess certain qualities, such as being in good condition, having unique characteristics, or featuring errors. In fact, even a dirty or worn coin can have surprising value, as condition is not the only factor in determining its worth. The design of the 1952 Lincoln wheat cent is one of the most iconic in U.S. history. On the obverse, we see a highly detailed portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first time that a U.S. coin featured a portrait of a real president, an innovative decision that resonated deeply with the American public. So, how much is this 1952 D Lincoln wheat cent worth in today's market, especially with its dirty condition? The truth is that its value can vary widely depending on the level of dirt and wear it has accumulated, but even in dirty or well-worn condition, it can fetch anywhere between $38,000 on average in today's auction market. However, the value of a coin like this can see a significant increase if it's graded by a professional service, and if the collector market has a particular interest in it at the time of sale. Additionally, there is always the possibility of the coin having unique characteristics that could make it more desirable, like an error or a rare die variety. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for these hidden gems. Now, it's important to mention that many collectors are drawn to the idea of error coins. Coins that have been struck incorrectly or with some kind of imperfection. While the 1952 D Lincoln cent isn't known for any major errors, its overall rarity, combined with the ever-growing interest in Lincoln wheat cents, means that this coin could be part of a much larger collection in the future. If this coin were to have some kind of die error or another unique characteristic, its value could skyrocket. Collectors of Lincoln wheat cents tend to be passionate about completing sets, and the 1952D is an important part of the series. It represents the final years of this iconic design, and it could easily be a key piece in someone's collection. As with any coin, the value lies not only in the coin itself, but in the story it tells and the connection it has to those who seek it out. So, to wrap up, the 1952 D Lincoln. Wheat cent in dirty condition may not be the most glamorous or pristine example of a coin, but it still holds a lot of historical and collector value. With its fascinating design, association with Abraham Lincoln, and its place in the broader narrative of U.S. coinage, it's no surprise that collectors are keeping an eye on this one. It's a perfect example of how even a less-than-perfect coin can have a significant place in a collections. Next up, the 1967 Abraham Lincoln. 1-cent coin, specifically the large date variety without a mint mark, is a fascinating piece of American history. Created during a time of post-war change, this coin stands out not only for its historical context, but also for the surprising value it holds in today's numismatic world. The year 1967 was pivotal in American history, as the country was navigating through the social upheaval of the 1960s, marked by civil rights movements, the Vietnam War, and significant shifts in the cultural landscape. The Lincoln penny, which had been minted for decades, saw a subtle but noteworthy design and mintage change in 1967 that would later spark collector interest, particularly with the large date variety. Produced in the Philadelphia Mint, this coin's large date version is distinct due to the size of the numbers in the year, which is visually different from the regular small date variety. This variant caught the attention of collectors in the years following its release, and while it might seem common, the fact that it has survived in black beauty or rusty dirty condition makes it incredibly rare. The 1967 Lincoln cent features the iconic Abraham Lincoln portrait, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse of the coin depicts the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, another key design feature that makes the Lincoln penny so widely recognized and celebrated. However, the specific coin in question here, the 1967 large date Lincoln penny with no mint mark in dirty, blackened condition, is unique. The black beauty term refers to a specific visual phenomenon where the coin's surface darkens due to oxidation, exposure to certain environmental conditions, or improper storage. While this coin's appearance may seem undesirable to some, collectors appreciate its rarity and the story it tells about its past. The dirty, rusty condition of the coin gives it an additional layer of character, showing that it has endured time, wear, and tear, factors that contribute to its value in the market today. In today's market, 1,967 Lincoln pennies with a large date and in poor to moderate condition can range from $16,000 depending on their exact state. However, coins that have achieved the black beauty status, especially those with notable wear but preserved historical value, can fetch as much as $18,000 at auction. Despite the dirty and rusty appearance, the unique black beauty condition increases its desirability. The high contrast and rugged look make it an exceptional piece for certain collectors who are drawn to coins with character. Collectors who specialize in unusual or distressed coins often seek out these rarities for their collection, making them worth significantly more than their face value. For example, a blackened 1967 Lincoln penny might sell for $22,000 or even more, especially if it has other unique characteristics or errors, such as double strikes, die cracks, or off-center minting. The market for this type of coin is niche but growing, as many enthusiasts appreciate the challenge of identifying, preserving, and valuing rare coins in less than ideal conditions. While the 1967 penny isn't known for specific errors in the minting process, collectors of Lincoln cents are particularly interested in varieties and subtle design variations. The large date variety, for example, has a strong following among enthusiasts who seek out the differences between the large and small date versions. In the world of coin collecting, collectors often focus on coins that show the history of their use. Coins that have been exposed to the elements, such as being buried for decades or stored improperly, often develop the rusty or black beauty patina that makes them so interesting. In fact, there's a growing sub-market for coins that have aged in this manner, And those interested in the 1967 Lincoln penny are typically coin collectors who have an appreciation for history and aesthetics, rather than just the coin's financial value. For those investing in coins, these pennies represent more than just a dollar. They symbolize a piece of American history that, when preserved or found in specific conditions, can significantly increase in value. Next up, we have the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent, with a large date and an S mint mark. This coin is quite an interesting one, and it certainly has collectors buzzing, especially because of its red-colored, dirty condition. While that might sound a little strange at first, don't be fooled. This coin has some serious value, and we'll explain exactly why. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat cent was struck in the aftermath of World War II, during a time when the U.S. economy was bouncing back and inflation was a growing concern. In the year 1950, the United States was transitioning from a wartime economy to one focused on production and consumer spending. The coin itself features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, but it's also part of an era in which people began to appreciate the numismatic value of coins. The S mint mark on this coin indicates that it was struck in the San Francisco Mint, which produced a relatively small number of these coins compared to the other U.S. mint locations. The 1950 S Lincoln Wheat cent is one of the more sought-after years for collectors, particularly the large date variety. But what makes this particular coin so interesting is its condition. A red-colored, dirty look that gives it an added level of intrigue. The mintage of the 1950 Lincoln Wheat cent was substantial, with over 100 million coins produced across various mint locations. However, the number struck at the San Francisco Mint was lower than those at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. This makes the 1950 S somewhat less common and more desirable for collectors who specialize in mint marks and rarities. Just like the 1952 coin we discussed earlier, the 1950 S Lincoln Wheat cent features the iconic design by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, we see Lincoln's bust facing right, with the words Liberty and the date 1950 prominently displayed. On the reverse, we find the two stalks of wheat, which frame the coin's denomination, 1 cent. This timeless design symbolizes the strength and unity of the United States. The large date variety of this coin is particularly important because the large number 1950 makes it visually distinct from the smaller date version of the same year. Collectors often seek out these varieties as they can be quite rare, especially in certain conditions. So, what about the value of the 1950 S Lincoln Wheat cent in its red-colored, dirty condition? While its value might not be as high as a perfect coin, it can still command a respectable price. In auction markets today, you might see a 1950 S Lincoln cent in red, dirty condition fetch anywhere from $66,000 depending on the level of dirt, wear, and overall market demand at the time. Coins like this can gain value due to the mint mark rarity, the unique characteristics of the large date variety, and the ever-growing collector interest in the Lincoln Wheat cent series. These factors can combine to give the 1950 S coin a strong market presence. As with the 1952 D coin, error coins are a big draw for collectors. While the 1950 S Lincoln cent doesn't have any specific errors tied to it, the condition and the color change can make it an interesting piece for those looking for coins with unique features. The red-colored, dirty look of this coin might even be considered an artificial toning, a process where a coin changes color due to environmental factors or chemical treatments. Collectors who specialize in such toning might find this coin particularly appealing. In conclusion, the 1950 S Lincoln Wheat cent with a large date in red-colored, dirty condition is another example of a coin with significant value despite its appearance. With its rarity, historical context, and collector demand, it remains an exciting addition to any collection. It's proof that a coin doesn't need to be flawless to be valuable. Sometimes it's the unique characteristics that make it so special. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it informative. Next up, the 1973 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent coin without a mint mark is an intriguing example of how even coins that seem far from perfect can carry tremendous value, especially when they exhibit characteristics that draw collectors' attention. The specific version we're discussing today is the large date variety, found in black, rusty, and dirty condition. This may not sound like the most desirable state for a coin, but don't be fooled. There's far more to this coin than meets the eye. The year 1973 marked a significant time in U.S. history, as it followed the tumultuous 1960s and early 1970s, during which the U.S. economy had faced challenges, including inflation and changes in the price of precious metals. The U.S. Mint was adjusting to these challenges by striking large quantities of coins, particularly the 1-cent coins, to meet the needs of daily commerce. The 1973 Lincoln cent was part of the ongoing production of the Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 and is still produced today. The coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and a reverse that showcases the Lincoln Memorial, which was designed by Frank Gasparo. This reverse design had been in place since 1959, celebrating the 16th president's legacy. However, the 1973 Lincoln cent was part of a very particular mintage cycle. In 1973, the U.S. Mint struck both small and large date varieties of the coin. The large date is notable for its larger-sized digits compared to the small date variety, and it stands out as a critical error in the production process. For the 1973 large date variety, the minting process was inconsistent, leading to the distinctive large date appearance. In terms of design features, the obverse of the 1973 large date Lincoln cent features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right. The word Liberty is inscribed above the portrait, while the date 1973 appears at the bottom. Above that, the inscription "In God We Trust" is featured, along with the mint mark. However, in this case, we're focusing on the version without a mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and 1 cent. The details are clear, but let's talk about how condition affects its value. Now, while the coin is struck in a relatively standard fashion, the condition is where things get interesting. A coin in black, rusty, and dirty condition can initially seem like a detractor from its value. However, when you examine it from a collector's perspective, this very condition could create immense interest due to its unique nature. Many collectors value coins with history coins that tell a story, even if that story is about their deterioration over time. For the 1973 large date without a mint mark, the condition actually adds an element of intrigue. The blackened patina and the rust marks are often the result of exposure to elements or improper storage. Coins with such imperfections may not command the highest value in uncirculated or pristine form, but coins with dramatic rust or black discoloration often draw interest from those who specialize in unique, distressed coins. These types of collectors may be more focused on the unusual appearance or the coin's potential for restoration. The market for coins in this kind of condition can vary significantly, depending on how much damage has occurred and how much of the coin's original design is still visible. Coins in this category, especially if they are from specific years like 1973, could still hold significant value, particularly if collectors view them as rare or unique examples of coinage that have survived through time despite environmental conditions. In general, a 1973 large date Lincoln cent without a mint mark, even in poor condition, can fetch anywhere from $10,000 in auction, depending on the severity of the damage and the amount of detail still visible on the coin. As mentioned, one of the factors that elevate the value of the 1973 large date Lincoln cent is its rarity as an error coin. The 1973 large date variety is considered less common than the small date, and as a result, collectors are more inclined to seek out this variation. Even in a blackened, rusty, and dirty condition, the fact that it is the large date version and does not carry a mint mark makes it an intriguing piece for collectors interested in error coins. Some collectors focus specifically on the different types of Lincoln cents produced throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, and they're often on the lookout for coins that feature error minting or have rare attributes that make them stand out from the crowd. The 1973 large date without a mint mark fits perfectly into this category, even if its condition is far from perfect. Because of its relative rarity, there is steady collector interest in this coin despite its compromised state. In conclusion, while a black, rusty, and dirty 1973 large date Lincoln cent may not sound like the most glamorous coin, its historical significance, rarity, and unique condition give it a special place in the world of coin collecting. The market value may not reach astronomical heights for this particular coin in this condition, but it still commands a respectable amount. If you're lucky enough to have one of these coins, don't dismiss it just because it's seen better days. Its value could surprise you.